Welcome, this is our review sort of impressions of Fall Guys. So overall we think it's like a really good fun multiplayer game. So basically Fall Guys is what I call a modern take on the classic British show It's a Knockout, starring Frank Bruno, who used to do the narration. Although for those who are not as old as me, you're probably more familiar with things like Takeshi's Castle and that type of game show. So you just go for a round. It starts with 60 players. When you get through the first round, like so many players are knocked off, I think about 20 on the first round, and then you keep getting, it keeps knocking more and more out to get to like the last 10 or last 5. It does seem to vary from match to match, and then whoever's the last person in that final round is the winner, and then you just do it all again. So it's got various, they're not mini, people say mini games, I call them obstacle courses. They're various obstacle courses. So here's one where so many players will have a golden tail. So if you win, if you've got a golden tail when the timer ends, you win. So you got to run around and try and grab the tail off. There's solo modes and team modes. What I mean by solo modes, like everyone's versus everyone. And then team ones, obviously they just split into teams and whatever team wins. There have been a few matches as well where it's in 3 teams. So like 2 of the teams will get through. So you can see we nearly finished this, but you can tell there's lots of it's quite wobbly, bouncy physics. Jumping takes a little while to get used to, but it's not too bad. The only main struggle would be the grabbing on. There is a grab button, which you can use to jump and pull yourself up, but it's a little bit more on the finicky side. Okay, here's one of the minigames I'm not as keen on, because it's a memory game, although I seem to get through it every time, so I haven't done too bad. But basically the floors show you different fruit, and then after so many seconds the big screen will show you what fruit to do. As you can see in a minute, loads of people just seem to go for where everyone else is going. It's a bit of a mad dash. Most of the time I think most of the players have been good and fair. Recent matches I've seen a few more people definitely trolling other players by trying to grab them and throw them off, and it's just a little bit frustrating. You'll find this near the end as well, when you get near to the finish line on some of the obstacle courses. People deliberately trying to hold on to people to hold them back, which I don't quite see the point because it's slowing them down. So, but maybe hopefully they'll sort that out. But it hasn't been too much of an issue so far. So the counter's going to finish. We'll have to jump on to an orange. So everyone's around going, "Oh, where was the orange? Where was the orange?" Oh, phew. And everyone else falls down. Usually, if too many people are still surviving, they tend to put a timer on the match, and it's oh, time's up, and then just carries on to the next round. So it can be a bit different. It's not guaranteed every round oh, 10 people are leaving this round, because I've had finals with 5 people, finals with 12 people, and the final round does change as well. I'm just going to show you the one final round in here, but it does seem to change. Qualified, right? Oh, the Wheelie Gig. This is a tough one. This is what I call more it's a knockout course type thing. And everyone does tend to wobble back. This is where you'll see where some people can do the grabbing one. They did put some boxes in, so you can jump on a box and then jump again. Only other Christians the camera. Here it's really steep. So sometimes you do have to adjust the camera. Is it skill based, this game? A little bit. But there is down to pot luck as well. Sometimes it's just this chaotic thing. You can time the jump, like I just did there, which does help. But sometimes some of them is just pure luck. Or how the platforms are, how many people are on a platform. See, some of this is a bit like timing, but there's one in a minute you can see in the distance that's going really fast. That's a real pain to get through. So this one's not too bad, but you can get unlucky and get hit across there. So I'm going to try it now, but most of the time I go left or right, because you get up here and you just get whacked. This is the problem with jumping. Sometimes I feel you go to jump, but if you leave it a bit too late, you tend to just fall off. It's hard. It just isn't quite as snappy, the jump. Definitely an odd feeling to it, but once you get the hang of it, it's good. This bit is a nightmare usually. No. But no, if you time it right, you can get across. Sometimes this is where having the camera is awkward, because well, I'm trying to wait for the gap, but you tend to have to turn the camera sometimes to see where that blade is. The only thing I wish when you qualified, like, you went into a different bit where you could do like your emotes and that. Because there are emotes, but I'm not going to stand halfway in a match and emote because I've got no time to waste. Okay, this is one a bit like from Tashi's Castle, if you've seen it. So some of these doors are real and some are fake. This one is the one that's purely, mostly down to luck. Not about luck guessing, but if you get like the first few doors but then you run into a solid door, you just get stuck behind and then it's like a nightmare to try and catch up. You might see now like the very last bit is just like a big pylon. So here's like I got lucky there, like, oh, for that door, but if you got stuck behind another one, by the time you get to these last few doors, it's going to be a nightmare to try and catch up. Okay, here we go again. I must have been having a lucky run here. Sometimes it feels like you go on for ages. Oh, see, this is better. See, and I was mostly in the lead, and you can see how far back I've fallen. Just because I chose the wrong door, and this bit gets a bit chaotic here. But I still managed it, but you can see how you go from 2nd to 20th in a short go. This one's, for some reason, been having like this gate one straight after the other gate one, the door one. But here the gates are going up and down. For the most part you can time it, but there's a little bit near the end, I think it's the 3rd or 2nd up and down gates near the end, that don't seem to have like a normal pattern. That's why I find a lot of players seem to get stuck on that bit. If you do time right, you can jump and you can kind of like hit the top of it and bounce off. But this bit at the very end, like, this gate's fine, it's the one before this bit run. Now this is tricky because there's actually a jump at the end. There's a few of these obstacle courses that do have like a jump just right before the end, and sometimes you can't see it. There's one where you have to find the right path. Otherwise some panels fall and some don't. But I made all the right path to the end, got to the end, but didn't see the jump, missed the jump. There's no bit where the camera was weird there. So this is one where slime rises. This one is a little bit of a nightmare because if you're on some of these and there's too many players, you either tend to just get pushed off or you don't get through because everyone's a bit too crowded. I think dodging the balls so far has been fine. There's one with dodging fruits and that can be a bit of a nightmare. These are a nightmare. You try and jump across, but sometimes you just fall funny, as you just saw there. You can like land, but if you like wobble weirdly and you fall over, it can be a bit of a nightmare. Getting pushed by other players it's part of the fun as well when they're not grabbing onto you, but sometimes it can be a bit of a nightmare. So I don't mind this bit, it's not too bad usually. It's not bad, okay. See, this one I was like really confident about this bit. And I played a few more matches and I've fallen off that second one so many times. Because it doesn't turn around, so you think it'd be easy enough, but if you don't quite get in the centre, you will just slide straight off. Okay, these are a nightmare as well. You can see the more people are in this bit, the more nightmares. Like now it's alright, but it can be a bit of a nightmare for like 10 of you trying to get through that bit. These wrecking balls are a nightmare on some of the levels. See, that's what I mean. That person there, why is he not running across the line? He's just standing there trolling people. This one I love. This one's like the most stressful one. But I love it because it reminds me of Mario Galaxy. That's an amazing game. But this type of things to avoid and platform, obviously it's a little bit different from Mario Galaxy, but you can see what I'm getting at. So yeah, you can earn. So far in the store, everything you can buy is with the coins you can earn in game. Obviously you can spend real money. I wouldn't advise doing that. But you can earn the coins and the crowns through playing. So that's a good way to get more costumes. There's a free battle pass, or season pass, or whatever you want to call it. To unlock more costumes. That's how I've got the pigeon tail and the prehistoric pattern. But you can see there's loads of great costumes. There's like a rota on the costumes as well in the store, so it's worth checking each day just to see if there's like an outfit you want. You say that, you log on each day, but when you log on, it's the problem with Fall Guys. You play one match, and you're there for 10 matches later. It's very good addictive. It just puts you back straight in the match pretty good. and waiting times are ridiculously quick. Like, I don't feel like there's that many multiplayer games that could say get you in a match that quick. Hopefully it stays that busy. My only like thing I would say is like maybe like if it starts getting a bit quieter at some times of day, just to have bots to fill in the spaces if it doesn't fill up. I know people hate the bots, that's a controversial thing, but I always think it helps keep multiplayer going, like it does in Gears of War. I think that's the best use of bots. Right, here's what a final match looks like. So some platforms move away, so you have to stay on and be the last one surviving. Some of you UK, and I think the American version's got it as well, will remember this from Total Wipeout. So you just got to stay on basically, or not fall off, and you got to dodge those. As always, there's a couple of different obstacle courses for the final, but I enjoyed doing this one. So this is the case where whoever's last will win. Oh, this is where I got nervous. It's possible, I've seen other matches where a panel by itself like that will just disappear. And you're like, well, there's nowhere I can go. And there you go, that's when I won. So it's a great game, you should check it out. Remember to hit the like and subscribe.